Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another iTWire video. I'm here today at the Kaspersky Cybersecurity Conference. I'm talking to Noushin Shabab. She is the Senior Security Researcher in Australia. Welcome to the program. So, Noushin, can you please just tell us about what it's like, a day in the life of a cybersecurity researcher?
Hello, thanks for introducing me. Day life is it's a very interesting question because we don't have a routine work. To be honest, to say this is a day of my work. We see different things every day. We deal with different challenges, different types of cyber criminal activities or cyber espionage attacks, or different tasks. Like some days I do reverse engineering on some malware samples. Some days I do more high-level analysis, like what I did for this conference. Sometimes I do forensics analysis. It depends. It depends to the nature of research I'm working on. It's completely different from day to day.
Sure. I mean, that's in some ways, the reverse for most people. A lot of people watch that movie Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every day. But for you, a bit like in technology journalism, something new every day, which is good. Now, we'll get to what you spoke about in the conference, sort of getting the short version. But before we get to that, many times we hear in the media, and we've heard it for the past few years, but we hear about women in IT. And you are, in fact, a woman in IT, which is a great thing to see. So I thought I'd ask you to tell us what got you interested in IT, and what were some of the milestones in the journey to get to where you are today, and what advice do you have for other women wanting to get into this field of IT and any other field of IT?
For me, it started since I was primary school student. I was always curious in problem solving.
What was your first computer in Iran?
It was very old computer.
Was
Operating
it
system was
basic
Windows 98.
Windows 98, yeah, okay, so it was a PC clone, yeah?
Yes. But before that, I used to use computer at school, which was on DOS operating system.
Yeah.
I used to write some programs on QBasic programming language back then.
I remember doing Pascal.
I did Pascal in high school.
Yeah,
I did Pascal in high school. So I started learning and doing programming and doing problem solving in computer science problems when I was at school. I was fortunate to have some older friends in school that was leading people to know in which area they have potential potential skills or
we're trying to
talent.
nurture your interest in IT.
Yes, so I knew that I want to go to IT, but for cybersecurity I had no idea. I started my first role as a malware analyst, and
was this something did you do any university studies in computing or?
I did a bachelor's in information technology engineering, and I've done some postgraduate degrees in computer networks too.
So how did you go from computer networks into malware analysis?
So I started my first role. It was completely by chance in cybersecurity and malware analysis. It was a junior graduate role.
And this was a company in Iran?
Yes, a local antivirus company in Iran. So I started and we started learning and doing everything from scratch, and I started enjoying the challenging nature of my role every day.
It's like being an investigator,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I started liking the role, and I still love what I do.
So just what's the short version of how you came to come to Australia and then find a job with Kaspersky?
I've been with the old company. I worked in Iran for a few years, about 4 years. Then for personal reasons I moved to Australia. And then I was looking for a job. To be honest, not many jobs were advertised in my field of expertise, and I was looking for a job for a few months. Then fortunately I found the role was advertised by Kaspersky Lab, and when I looked at the job description, it was
It was you.
Exactly, yes, what I wanted and
Incredible.
what I knew. So I applied for the job, and after so many rounds of interviews and doing some challenges, technical challenges to pass pass some levels of interview, I finally got my dream job.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And how long has that been now?
It's been just more than a year.
Okay. And I mean, do you know any other women globally in the same sort of role as you?
In our team, which is a global team, I'm the only girl, unfortunately. But it's good to see more and more girls and women getting interested in cybersecurity. We're actually trying with some other women in Australia to encourage more girls, more university students, or even high school students to get into this community, get to know better about their roles and about the nature of the job, and eventually get into this field.
Sure. And what sort of advice do you and your group are you giving to the younger women to want to take this role on?
The best advice I can give is that it's okay to do mistakes. It's okay if you don't know many things. Not everyone knows everything. You have to just try and don't give up, and try to contribute in this community and try to be more active. And that's it. It's not a very big deal. It's a role which is very interesting, and I hope more women get into this role in the future.
So look, I've got your speech from earlier today, and I'll make that available alongside this video. But what's the short version of what you were talking about today?
Okay, what I presented today was the topic was spy spotting. I was talking about cyber espionage campaigns and people behind these campaigns, how we could find some people behind the attacks, some cyber spies behind the cyber espionage campaigns by mistakes that they made carelessly when they were doing their operations, like the usernames they left inside some malware components or some other phases of the attack, and reusing that username or reusing the passwords or names on social media accounts of themselves with personal information, with lots of photos from their family, from their workplace, anything that makes security researchers reveal who are the people behind the attacks and what are their intentions.
Those are sort of the clues that you're picking up on to help uncover who these nation state or other actors are.
Yes, exactly. We always look for different clues inside the attack. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that can be used to
Identify somebody?
Identify something and find something more, we always try to use it.
And now that you've exposed some of these sort of careless mistakes, do you see them trying to get any smarter or make less mistakes to try and make your job harder?
There are lots of cyber espionage and cyber criminal actors out there, but there are not all of them that do these careless mistakes. I'm sure that they will still do some careless mistakes in the future, maybe even the same people, but this is how they are used to work. This is how they
It's human nature,
know
right?
how to do. Yes, and exactly, this is human nature. If there's a social person that loves social media, wants to put everything on social media, they cannot just stop it one day. So
they only have to make the mistake once, right? They can be very, very careful and then take a photo with, as you showed, a building or a number plate in the background, and that can help to expose them.
Exactly. And there are cybersecurity analysts that they look for even small details to find the truth behind the attack. It's not always a very obvious mistake that the attackers does that reveals the person behind it.
Sure.
Sometimes it's very small clues, but we find all of them and we connect the dots and find the people behind the attack.
Any thoughts on how the cybersecurity researching world, and also the bad guys, how the good guys and the bad guys, how their behaviours are going to evolve, say, over the next decade, and how the game's going to get harder for both sides?
Okay, we are sure that cyber criminals are getting more and more advanced and equipped by the time, because it's a community. They talk to each other, they share their knowledge, they share their tools. Sometimes they sell their tools and their expertise. So they are getting more and more advanced and
sneakier.
yes, and as you saw today, we see more groups, more cyber attackers using some very specific and sophisticated techniques that it used to be in the hands of a very small group of attackers in the past, but now
Now the script kiddies are getting it, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So do you have any final messages for iTWire viewers and readers, and for Kaspersky's current and future customers?
Just hope everyone gets more knowledge and be more cautious when they go online, when they buy connected devices, when they connect devices to each other, to network, and be more careful.
Well, Noushin, thank you very much for your time today, and best of luck uncovering those bad guys in the future.
Thank you.